Hey, what's up, hello guys, welcome to today's video. I'm excited to do a little TBR video today. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, and then if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I posted a little give me content ideas, and one of them was doing a my followers pick out my TBR. So I decided to do it for the month of February, and I've always found these videos so fun to watch, especially Sarah Caroli's one. Those ones were really fun, so I tried to do it kind of like how she did it for inspo, but it is my first time, so... And all the books that I decided to use for these months are all ones that were on my physical TBR, so they're books that I've had that I've been wanting to read, and also I just kind of want to get through all my physical TBRs, so I picked out a bunch of different fun reads from different genres, and you guys are gonna help me choose. And this is the lineup of books that we have to choose from for this month. It looks like a lot, but honestly it's only 12 books. A lot of them are just kind of fat. These are the books that you guys got to choose from for my TBR, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so looking at the first one, the one on the left, I had a stack of papers next to the floating flying dollar bills, and then the one on the right, I had a cowboy and then a bunch of beer. So the one on the left was actually Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, and this is the second book to the Dreamland Billionaire series. I read the fine print, which is the first one, about a year ago. I kind of just wanted to get through my TBR at the time, so I never continued the series, but it is one that I've been wanting to finish, so I decided to put that one on. I don't know, I'm really excited for this one. I feel like a lot of people say that this one's their favorite out of the series because I believe it's about Declan and Iris, and it's a fake wedding, if I'm not mistaken. They're supposed to get married and everything, but I thought it would be a fun read, so I decided to have this one on the left. And then for the one on the right with the cowboy emojis and beer, it was actually Hopeless, which is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. So I read the first 4 right over here, as you guys can see, and I really love them. I was gonna start this as soon as I finished Reckless, but at the back of the book it does show a little preview of the next book, and the one thing that kind of put me off from reading it right away was the age gap, because I believe she's 22 and he's 35, something like that. It's a big age gap, and I didn't know that, so I was kind of oh, bro, you were almost in high school when she was born. I feel I shouldn't judge a book by its trope, and I should give it a shot because everyone really loved this one. So I decided, why not leave it up to you guys to decide, do I get to read this one this month or not? I put these two next to each other because they're both the next books in a series that I'm still currently reading, and they're also kind of matching in colors, the greens. Let's go ahead and look at the results. So as you can see, it was 50-50, and this was a tough one. I think I nailed it with the emojis, so maybe you guys were able to kind of guess what each one was, but since they were 50-50, I had to go to the exact numbers. And from there, you can see that Terms and Conditions got 717 votes, and then Hopeless got 709. So the first book of our TBR for February is going to be Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, and I am excited to read this one because I feel like I need another billionaire romance. Going on to the next story, as you can see, the one on the left, I had a photo of a rugby ball, if that's what it's called, and then I had a picture, or a emoji of a clover, and then the one on the right, we had a rose and a heart on fire. I think personally I did pretty good with the emojis for this one. So going on to the one on the left, it was Binding 13, which is the Boys Atonement series, the first book by Chloe Walsh, and I have the first 4 books. I never touched it yet. It's a sports romance, and it's definitely something that I want to read. Everyone's talking about it. A lot of my friends have read it, and this is a lot of people's favorite series, especially if you guys know Larry Reads. She did a collab with a special edition. She's one of my favorite booktubers, and because she liked Binding 13, I was okay, let's put it on this month's TBR, and then if it gets chosen, I get to read it. If not, I'll probably end up reading it soon. Maybe not this month, but it is on my radar. So going on to the one on the right, which was the Rose and the Paper, or the Rose and the Flaming Heart, it's actually Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I gonna be honest, I don't know what this one's about. It's now he spends his days balancing business with parenting a sullen 12-year-old, all while trying desperately to keep his hands the hell off his best friend's sister, Rosie Belmont. Because female main character's name is Rosie, I had the rose, and then because it's wild love, I did like the heart on flames because like, ooh, like wild love. I don't know. I feel like I could have done maybe a little better with this one, but I don't know what it's about. Honestly, I've only really read the Chestnut Spring series. I decided, okay, let's put it on my February TBR, especially because it's pink, and I thought it just fit like the February vibes. Looking at the results, I was honestly pretty shocked by this. The one on the left was 23% and the one on the right was 77%. And even though a lot of people guessed that it was Binding 13, I wonder if they knew I was talking about Wild Love and if they found it better, because as you guys can see, Wild Love ended up winning this little pull off, as we should call it. I was honestly surprised because I figured it would have been more closer like the previous one with 50-50. Maybe those two emojis made it interesting, but this is going to be our second book for the month of February. So going on to the next poll, we have on the left a red circle and a crown, and then the one on the right we have like a drop of blood and a castle. Honestly, I genuinely think these ones were pretty obvious in my opinion. Like, I think I explained these ones really well with the emojis. The one on the left was actually Red Queen by Victoria Aylward, and that's why I use the emojis, because you know, like a red circle and a crown, Red Queen. This one has been on my radar for a really long time. A lot of my friends read this in middle school and they absolutely loved it. And I also know that there's like a lot of controversy with this because apparently Powerless by Lauren Roberts like plagiarized this, or it's basically a knockoff version of this. There are worlds divided by blood, so there's people with red blood and there's people with silver. And her family only have red blood and they're destined to serve the silver elite with supernatural abilities. That's actually exactly like Powerless. Oh my god. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and just pretend she's a long lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. This one seems really interesting and it's definitely one that I've been wanting to read, so I had this one. And because this is fantasy, the one on the right was actually From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I put these two next to each other because they're both fantasy. I've also had this book too for a really long time. For over a year now. I've never got to read it yet. And this is actually gifted to me by one of you guys who bought it off my wish list, so thank you so much. If you guys can see, this is a pretty fat book. Like, this is gonna do or take a lot of time to read. And honestly, I also don't know really what it's about. I've just heard so much good things about it that I wanted it and I had it on my wish list. I know that like the female main character is like a maiden and she has a duty because she's a maiden. I don't know, I know it's very fantasy and it seems like it's gonna be a forced proximity or maybe an enemies to lovers romance. I was really excited for that. I don't know, something about it, I just want to read it. Looking ahead at the results, this one shocked me because I wasn't expecting it to be another like 24%, 76%. Like, I thought this one would have been closer to 50-50 because I feel like the Red Queen emojis were obvious, and I know it's a pretty popular series. As we can see, From Blood and Ash ended up winning with 76%. So this is going to be our third book on our TBR for this month. I'm really excited to get to it. Like I said, I don't know much about it and I'm actually pretty happy with that because I've avoided spoilers thus far and this is going to be like a spoiler-free read for me. But yeah, this is going to be our third book. Now going on to the next one. I also think I did good with emojis on this one. I know I'm just saying that, but genuinely, this one I think was pretty good. So the one on the left we have a bouquet of flowers and a shield, and then for the one on the right we have a bee and heels. And I'll give you guys like 30 seconds to make your predictions on which ones they are before I show them. Okay, so the one on the left was actually Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I've been on a Sarah Adams grind. Like, I just finished the cheat sheet a few days ago and I'm almost done with the real book and I absolutely love her writing. Like, there's no spice in them. I think the real book might have a chapter coming up that does have spice, but it's such like a fun read even without it. Like, there's a lot of banter and then just the way that she writes her men, I absolutely love it. So I thought it would be fun to read it this month, especially because it's pink and February. You kind of think pink because Valentine's Day. But yeah, the reason that I went with the flower and the shields is because I believe she owns a flower shop and there's a bunch of like flowers, and then the male main character is a sexy, tattooed, and absolutely gorgeous bodyguard. That's what the book says. So I decided to put the shield because, you know, like bodyguard. This one seems like a cute forced proximity, like short little romance rom-com read. And for the one on the right, it's also another popular series that I've heard a lot of things about. It is the Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I know this one is also a long series and that there's like a lot of controversy. So I know a lot of people love it, but there's some people that I know that have DNF'd it because they could not stand the miscommunication. And honestly, miscommunication is one of the things I hate. But I'm hoping I can just overlook it to enjoy the series because it is one that I've been wanting to read. I decided to do the bee and the red heel because when I looked up Magnolia Park's like post, like a lot of people use those emojis. I don't know why. Genuinely, I don't know why. So this one says that Magnolia Parks is a beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite, and BJ Ballantyne is Britain's most notorious and photographed bad boy who broke her heart, but these two are meant to be and everyone knows it. So this one seems like a cute little series. Like I said, I know a lot of people talk about it, but I don't know exactly what happens. So looking at the results, this one's a little closer than the past two have been. The one on the left we had 59% and the one on the right we had 41%. So unfortunately no Magnolia Parks this month, but we do get to read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. Honestly, I'm kind of happy with that. Like, I do want to read Magnolia Parks and I definitely will, but because I've been on a Sarah Adams grind, I feel like reading another one of her books was just more in the mood for me per se. So going on to the second to last one, we're almost there guys, I promise. We have a picture of a knife and a blackbird on the left, and then on the right we kind of have like a dancing man and like a shh emoji. I think I nailed the emojis for the one on the left. I'm sure a lot of you guys can guess it, but on the one on the right I was kind of struggling. The one on the left is Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I have been hearing so much about this, just never got to read it. Like, one of my personal training clients was like recommending this book to me, telling me I should read it, and I got it, I just never got to it. If I'm not mistaken, the two of them are both murderers and they're like competing with each other, but I know that they're both murderers, so that's why I decided to put like the knife because like Butcher, and then I put the Blackbird because Blackbird, so Butcher and Blackbird. So that's why I think I nailed the emojis with this one. I'm excited. Like, going off the back, it says it's a viral friends to lovers dark romantic comedy full of murder, chaos, and sizzling chemistry. But I think this one will be interesting considering the fact that they're two murderers. Like, obviously, you know, like we have morally gray men who do some illegal stuff and kill people time to time. But this time, both of them are like actual murderers and it's not fantasy. So I thought this one would be very interesting. So I'm going for the one on the right. I genuinely think I did it so dirty with the emojis. It's going to be Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I did the little dance emoji because like dance, and then there's no thief emoji. ChatGPT, what emojis represent a thief? One of them was the shh. So I decided to use that because, like, you know, like shh, sneaky. I don't know. I decided to go with that one, but I think I did it so dirty with those emojis. Honestly, I don't know what Dance of Thieves is about. I've had this also for over a year because I've seen it on my For You page back in like 2023, 2024 book talk, and a lot of people said they really loved it. It's like one of their favorite fantasy reads. When outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat and mouse game of false move ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. So it seems like an enemies to lover romance. I don't know much about this. I've only really ever seen it talked about on TikTok as being like a good series, not exactly what it's about. So going ahead and looking at the results, I really did do Dance of Thieves 30 because Butcher and Blackbird got a whopping 83%, and then the one on the right ended up getting 17%. Honestly, I feel like I expected it, but we are going to be reading a Butcher and Blackbird this month. But I feel bad because I genuinely think I did Dance of Thieves dirty with those emojis, but I will read you, just not this month. So going into our last and final poll, we have the one on the left being an emoji of a black cat and a mouse, and then the emojis on the right being of like a detective and a case file. But going on to the one on the left, it is going to be Hunting Adeline, which is the second book in the cat and mouse duet, hence why the emojis were a cat and a mouse. I read Hunting Adeline back in either August or September, and I absolutely loved it. It got a 5 from me. It was my first taste of dark romance, and Zade Meadows, love that man. Doesn't know what that says about me, but love that man. I wanted to get into the second book right away, but as you guys can see, this is a fat book. I know that this one's a lot like heavier topics than the first one. There's a lot of trigger warnings, and that this one's like hits emotionally, that a lot of people that I know that read this book had to take breaks from reading because of just how emotional and like deep it was. But I want to finish it. I have the second book and it's just sitting on my shelf, so I was like, okay, we'll throw it in. And then as for the one on the right, this is also another book that I've been wanting to read forever, and it's just been sitting on my shelf for a year, and it's going to be A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. That's why I had a detective and a case file. If I'm not mistaken, she's like re-examining like closed cases, like she's a detective, so I was like, okay, detective emoji and like a case file. This one seems like such a nice, short, and fun read. My like only really taste with mystery is going to be the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, as well as like the Inheritance games, and I really love those ones. Like it made me consider wanting to be a criminology major for a period of time. So I was like, okay, maybe we can throw this one into this month's TBR, just because, you know, I've heard a lot of good things about it, just never got to read it, and I was like, maybe we can throw in a little mix of mystery or whatever. So looking at the results, I kind of expected it. Like I thought a lot of people would guess Hunting Adeline to be the cat and mouse, and I think that's why that one on the left ended up getting 60% and the one on the right ended up getting 40%. So unfortunately we don't get to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder this month, but we do get to read Hunting Adeline, and I'm happy to finally get this book out of the way. But I definitely do want to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder eventually. Like maybe I'll read this next month because it's been on my TBR list for so long. I kind of just want to get it done and like over with. So I went ahead and organized it by like size, but this is going to be our February TBR for this month. I'm kind of excited. It is only 6 books, and I do want to read at least 10 this month. These are pretty fat. Like looking at it from the side, Hunting Adeline is pretty big, and From Blood and Ash is also pretty thick. These ones are smaller and thick, but I'm hoping I can get through all of these this month. I do have a lot of exams this semester, and this month I have an exam on Valentine's Day and the exam the day before Valentine's Day, as well as like reports due every week. So I'm a little struggling. I have faith in myself that I'll be able to have a lot of downtime and me time to just get to read, but I'm super excited. I just want to thank all of you guys for even participating. Like the amount of votes I was getting was surprising. I didn't think a lot of people were going to reply to my story, but you guys did, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun picking out all of my different books and then coming here to watch the video to see what the results were. But I just want to thank you guys because it made this video a lot more fun than me just being like, okay, I'm gonna read this, and this book this month. It was more fun having you guys help me choose what books I get to read. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts below on what you guys think of the books that I'm gonna be reading this month, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, bye!